Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, the last time that we met on this campaign, you guys had decided to take some downtime and clean up the alpha base and basically get your stuff all put together. So, Kashan, you were making something, weren't you?
I was working on using the basilisk scale to make a shield.
Okay.
Was my thing.
Had you actually made it, or
I think we said that by the time, like, it would take a couple of days. It would be ready about the same time as
right? Okay. Let me
thingy.
let me add the shield into your inventory then. Where is it? There you go. Okay, so you should be able to find shield +1 in your inventory. Okay, so Charlotte, you were making a bust to Lyria, weren't you?
Yeah.
Where did you put that in the base?
I was. Oh goodness. I think I was honestly sat on the sofa just chiseling away because I wasn't sure how big it was. Because I was using like the basilisk guys to like make a little thing out of it.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Okay.
Where are my notes?
There's your little bust of Lyria there.
Thank you. Might be useful if I open D&D Beyond.
It does occasionally help.
Yeah, just very occasionally if I want to look at my character sheet. Come on. There we go.
Okay, Nat, what were you doing?
I was hiding in the cupboard from Rola and her bathwater, and working on my bag of tricks, my new bag of tricks.
Okay.
She was also largely hiding from Marilla, trying to give her a bath, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, right, so after...
And I had my spirit hand thing was going around tidying up the place.
Yep, and I'll just simply say for the sake of brevity that put the rest of you all sort of pitched in on that as well. So, so you're now in a tidy alpha base now, as opposed to one that's in a state of ruin.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that.
Okay, and and you've also had some time to acclimatise yourself with its layout and things like that. You've managed to get the water from the nearby river for your baths, and you managed to get the things to stock that up. McKelly was going to cover that, and I've deducted the money from his inventory. So you've been in here sporadically going up to the surface for about 3 days now. Kashan, when you were out, you also collected your spear.
Yes, I've noticed that in the inventory.
Okay. And McKelly's basically been going over the various books Morella, you gonna do the same as well?
Yeah, I'll definitely help.
Okay. Okay, so which book are you reading?
Oh goodness, what books were there again? I have a note of this somewhere.
Okay,
Wasn't it the Lords and Kings with Alphas by...
yeah, but, where is it? The Lords and Kings Who Allied with the Alphas, written by Father
Yeah.
Griot. That's the book that McKelly has.
Yeah.
What do you remember? What book you took?
I think I took The Great War.
Okay.
I think so. I'll have a nice little not doodle through that. I'm not going to deface a book. I'll have a nice little read.
Okay. Right. So, can you give me a history check?
I would love to give you a history check. I'm not going to use my curse dice. Oh dear me. That's a 5.
Okay. But the name does remind you of something, but you can't, for the life of you, think who. You recognise the name of the author.
It's someone, guys.
But Kishan, if you want to get in on that, I'll allow you to assist with that.
Roll a history check. I can do that. I
Oh,
can definitely do that.
because you're a soldier, I'll let you do it with advantage.
Ooh. That is. Do I have anything in history? Oh, quick one. No. So that's still 17 though.
Okay. Right.
Not bad.
So you recognise the name General Troy as one of the greatest military leaders who has effectively ever lived, even by the comparisons of the modern age. Basically, a military person along the lines of like Genghis Khan, Caesar, General MacArthur in World War II. This guy is basically like considered a legend amongst the military circles.
Legendary.
So over the course of this time, you've been trying to get this book off Morella just simply so that you can.
No, I can read it. I can read. It's just, the words are just all blurring in front of me, but I know what I'm reading.
Okay. So as you settle into the third day, but something basically happens which hasn't happened before in the alpha base. From the main room, so from in here, you hear something that resembles a klaxon or an alarm.
Oh. I will carefully put down whatever I'm working on and head to check it out.
You gonna go with them? No?
Yep.
Marilla?
100%.
I'll say Limbo goes in as well, and Turek. You don't want to eat that. Okay, so you're not necessarily seeing exactly what is generating this noise, but basically in this room, the fireplace is basically glowing in a very definitive red, then going back to normal, and then going back to red again.
Is it some kind of like alert? Like, do we know anything as to what it could be?
Give me an intelligence check.
No, I'm not very intelligent.
I can create
That
We'll
is
destroy water if we need to.
That is a 9 for my intelligence check.
Okay. Unfortunately, you are completely clueless in this regard.
Yeah, that tracks.
Marilla, do you want to try and
Oh,
investigate
yes,
this?
sorry. I was turning my heater down because I was boiling. Yes. Intelligence check, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. That is a 4.
Okay, unfortunately you're just as clueless. Nat, do you want to give it a try?
Yeah, what am I rolling?
I think we're
Intelligence.
good at this.
Go to Mummy.
Sorry, I was looking for them. 21, not natural.
Okay. Right, so you've seen sort of magics like this. I think she stole my pen.
She didn't bring a pen over here.
Yeah, okay. Right. You've recognised magics like this whenever you were travelling with your tribe. It's a sort of alarm system that people will place around a perimeter to basically act as a proximity alarm.
Okay. So we've just triggered a proximity alarm.
Well, someone has. You're not entirely sure who.
Frank!
Okay, so as you call that out, Frank appears on the table, but instead of him wearing his semi-naked attire, he's actually dressed quite smartly and proper with a red tie suit. You called?
What did you do? And why did you set the alarm off?
Oh, I didn't set the alarm off, darling. I'm very, very discreet whenever it comes to sneaking in places. But it seems that somebody outside has come over to visit.
Do you know who it is, Frank?
No, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I've left you alone for 3 days and you've already set alarms off, so this is obviously something to do with you.
I have a very, very important question for you, Frank.
Yes?
What's with the suit?
Oh, you mean this piece of... and he tries flexing his legs and something rips. Ugh.
Yes.
Yes, Jen made a wish that I'd be more helpful and less fruitive.
And what was the downside?
I'm still working on that, darling, but as I'm fairly sure that the attire speaks for itself.
The suit has no
Well,
buttocks coverage.
okay.
I think you look lovely, Frank. It's a very dashing look on you.
Well, normally I would agree, darling, but the point about suits is that they come off, and I haven't been able to take this off for about 2 days now.
You stink.
Very much so.
Blech.
Now, if you
Well-
excuse me, I'm going to go and do something boring and
I'm going to send my
businesslike.
familial hand to chase him around and try and spruce.
Hey, but don't forget, I did promise you that I would use a wish.
Are you going to use it now? Are you going to get me out of the suit?
No.
He goes right up to you and grabs you by your collar. Please, I can't take this anymore.
Fine then. I will... Oh god. How wrong is this going to go? I will wish for that. In replacement for the fact that I said I was going to let you style me. So I wish for your suit to come off. Oh goodness.
Okay, and at that point, Frank disappears, leaving the suit behind.
Oh no.
So she just sent him somewhere naked.
Not our issue. Shall we go see who's at the door maybe?
Give me 1 moment. 19.
That sounds like a good idea. It sounds like Frank might be someone that shouldn't be at the door.
Oh dear. Okay.
What?
Yeah, you'll find out.
Oh no, is that... Oh, what have I done? I apologise to everyone.
He has some sort of chart that he uses to do consequences, so he was giggling then, so it's obviously something.
Yeah, I usually have a t-shirt that I wear for D&D that says when the DM smiles it's already too late, but unfortunately it's in the wash.
Because you were on Sunday.
Okay, so you guys are going outside?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's gone. Here we are. Okay, so as you go up the stairs and things like that, you're noticing that the route is significantly easier to work with. And you actually go upstairs quite quickly. But as you emerge from the house, which you've gone through a bit of practice to try and make this look as normal as possible. So you're not clambering out of the house, you're just stepping out of the ground floor of the house, if that makes sense. But as you do, you see two dwarfs that you've met before, Finnan and Ivor, basically just scratching their head, looking around the area and looking somewhat lost.
Can we help you?
Oh, finally. We've been looking forever for you. And he looks at you specifically, Sean, Ivor, and he's like, I remember you from somewhere.
We met in the arena.
Right. I take it by the fact that I can't remember you that you won that fight.
You fought admirably.
That's good. Well, we have a message from our boss man. He says he's managed to get an audience with the king for you, and that you're to arrive post-haste.
Very well.
Oh, it's quite a nice place you got here. Mind if we linger for a bit? It's been a hell of a walk.
I'll direct them over at this other building that was used as a, like, the bandits were staying in and stuff, and so that they can rest up over there if they need.
Sure. And so Finn says to you, thank you, Lord. We were manning the night watch, and unfortunately, someone, he looks pointedly at Ivor, decided to bang one of the hookers on the wall. Unfortunately, she fell off the wall. So so our shift is going to last for another 3 days.
Well, that's quite the shift. Quite the unfortunate circumstance.
And Ivor, at this point, just simply shuns away back into the house, trying to avoid everyone's gaze.
Are you stuck out here for the next 3 days?
Well, I know the boss, so I'll be able to work my way out of this. But yeah, no sleep, no play makes people murderous, as they say.
Well, do you have enough like food on you?
Oh, of course. Why? Do you have food as well?
I was just offering if you needed some extra sustenance or perhaps a blanket.
Oh no, we're fine. We have our beards. Thank
Ale?
you. I won't say no to ale.
I'm just going to pull out 2 of the bottles of ale that I've still stuffed in my barrel.
My thanks, Lizard. Tell me, we should come see us whenever you're free. We might be able to upgrade that barrel of yours.
I'll think about it.
I'd be very interested to see an upgraded barrel. Put some
Bear in
spikes
mind,
on.
I shared my barrel on a D&D chat, chatting to some people in D&D, and I got told off because apparently my barrel is too much god tier.
No, it's not. It's allowed.
It's like, it's a barrel, it doesn't actually do anything. I just wear a barrel.
Okay. Now that you've stepped outside, you've realised that it's been sporadically raining over the last couple of hours. And there's rain clouds above you indicating that it'll probably start raining again.
I'm going to go sit inside.
Okay, so do you guys want to head down towards the city?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
probably should.
Is that away from the rain?
At some point, yes.
Okay, then I'm going to run right as fast as I'm going to, like, Ron, but
This
like,
is
you know,
going to be a
when the
really
babies
dumb
try to
question.
move
The
and it's
city
sort
is
of, like,
Aquavada itself,
really
isn't
wobbly.
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
basically the kingdom is named after the capital.
I was just
Which it-
double checking for my notes.
Yeah, that's fine. But basically, each land, with the exception of the island that shares two, the islands that share two different cities, and the
Yeah.
island is named after the city that's there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So you make the put the journey towards Aquavada, which is significantly easier than the dwarfs made out to be. Until you come within sight of the city.
Oh no, we're by the tower again.
We do have larger legs, to be fair.
Some of you
I
do.
was about to say that.
We'll roll your barrel for you.
Thanks.
Okay, so you head down to. I take it you follow the road from here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go past the tower where you murdered the Red Paladin. There doesn't appear to be any activity going on there.
Good.
The bodies have all been taken away, and the tower just simply stands deserted. Okay. Ow, ow, ow. The DM is being abused. Ow, ow.
Not by me.
Okay, see. Ow. Okay, now I'm being abused by my wife. She's throwing unicorns at me.
Unicorns are dangerous.
Technically, I threw it to the baby. It's
as
not my
are-
fault you
As are
missed.
starry ones, for the record.
I had a quest in one of my previous groups about rabid unicorns, which the players had to find and eliminate.
I had a little one throw a wand at my head one time. It's actually left a scar like on my forehead. Just a little one. But yeah, had like a
I have
star on the top
never
of the
been
wand.
attacked nor attacked with a unicorn.
Look at you.
It was always fairies.
There we go, Bubba. Okay, so you come down to where the road sort of like diverts. So you got the city going this way, or the south road going this way. So if you could all move into the centre area, please.
Very good, sir.
Okay, so as you basically step in, you hear the sounds of running footsteps. However, you can't see what direction this is coming in. And then all of a sudden, Standard Frank appears in front of you.
Frank's back.
For the love of God, you gotta help me. I need a muscle-bound super person who looks good in green to demonstrate the new fashion trend that I've got. His eyes round on Alumba. He goes, "You'll do." And another Frank appears, and that Frank knocks him out with a blow to the head with his blackjack. One Frank grabs his legs, and the other one grabs the top, and they both go, "Go, go, 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 go!" And they carry Alumba away.
Are we supposed to do something about this?
Yes,
Actually, true.
maybe.
And then, oops, and then another Frank appears and goes, "That was a citizen's arrest, not a kidnapping. There is a difference."
We've just lost one of our party members.
Right.
Do we do something?
I'm gonna err on the side of caution and say that we were supposed to meet the king. And I don't think Frank would hurt Alumba, though I am concerned for his safety.
At that point, Frank in the suit reappears, and he's holding a briefcase, and he pulls out a sheet of paper. Is that this is a restraining order preventing you from taking action against the alleged event that may or may not have occurred. Please consult your lawyer. And then disappears.
We don't have a lawyer.
Okay. I think we should go see the king first. Then we'll find out what the hell Frank's up to.
You okay with that now?
Yeah.
I can just imagine this happening in real life and you guys just having no concern whatsoever about this.
I just... like, I'm in a situation where I understand that Frank. But he doesn't seem particularly malicious, so I'm gonna trust.
I guess who here would have a better understanding of the law? Because we should probably nominate a lawyer ready.
Maybe we should speak to one of the merchants, see if we can find a lawyer.
I meant out of us, but yeah, we
Oh.
could do that.
I don't know. Who would make? I don't know if any of us make particularly good lawyers.
I could create or destroy water to prove them wrong.
Yeah, I could just imagine. She just stands up at court. Objection! Whoosh! Court rests.
See, what I'm picturing is the kind of situation of like the Emperor's New Groove when Kronk's little shoulder things appear. And these little devils like, look what I can do.
Yes.
What does that have to do with anything? No. He's got a point.
Okay, so you're carrying on to meet with Hirog.
Well, the king did say post haste, and I remember like something. I don't have it written down, but I'm sure he was like important to meet because getting an audience was
said-
difficult.
Oh, maybe I didn't write a note. Go to
sure-
the king. We're worthy. Look good in armor. Those are my notes.
Yeah, Hero was saying it was potentially difficult to get an audience. So I think we should get that done since we've been requested post haste, and then we'll
Yeah.
work out what the hell Frank's up to.
Okay, so you arrive through the barracks, and but at this point the guards are so used to seeing you that some of them, particularly since you've killed the basilisk, the guards at this point are just simply willing to let you roam, as it were.
Well, it's about damn time.
So you arrive at the barracks, where Hirok is basically presiding over another fight. So what would you guys like to do?
I'll approach him and
Another
check out what's
fight.
going on with the fight.
I'm gonna go sit on my barrel and get ready to do some betting.
Okay. Okay, so Hirok basically sees you and is like, "Ah, good, you arrived. Do you want to watch this fight, or do you want to head off?"
We could stay and fight.
Okay. Well, he points to the one in the far corner. That one is newly acquired. We're basically going to blood him in. The other one is... well, he's not necessarily one of my best, but yeah, he follows orders well enough. So would you care to place any wagers?
Medium bet.
So 5 gold. Sorry, 2 gold rather.
Betting 2 gold.
Rayla?
I'll just set up a position again to heal people if they need it.
Kashan?
I'll chuck 2 on the new guy.
Okay, who are you betting on?
Same as everyone else.
The new guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So the two take their positions. The veteran is a dwarf, and the other one is a human, but a distinctly young one, only about 16 years old. So they're more or less a sort of similar height. and the veteran wins quite spectacularly. The guy basically, the new guy, as soon as he grabs his axe, doesn't wait for the sort of like the initiation of combat, and just charges straight at the veteran, who basically just simply buffs the blow away, and then just whacks him over the head with the stick side of the axe, and just knocks him straight out into the floor.
Ah.
Well, shit.
I'm gonna enter and I'm gonna go over to the kid, and I will cast. I'll use one of my heal kits, and I'm just gonna heal them, get them okay again.
So Hero basically just holds out his hand to you two.
I'll give him the 2 gold.
No.
Yeah.
You give the gold, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to deduct that from your inventories.
Already done. Gosh darn.
How many hit die does the kid have?
I'll be honest, I haven't worked that bit out yet.
Basically he gets at least 5 hit points healing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he basically he pockets the gold strangely into a pouch which he's got threaded into his beard. And then basically gives each of you a once over. So probably would have been better if you had some blood on you, but never mind. Come. We've got something of a walk ahead of us.
Very well, lead the way.
Okay, so he leads you to the palace grounds. You've been in the vicinity of this area, but you haven't been permitted into this section. You sort of were diverted off to a side room whenever you came here last. But you're basically in the courtyard of what is considered the main fortress of the palace district. So if I quickly bring up this map. So you guys are basically here. You've been in this particular part of the building. You're now in this bit here, in the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
So you step into this area, and it's immensely luxuriously decorated. There's fountains of dragons and angels amidst this giant fountain, which is working what looks to be purified water instead of like the somewhat dirtier natural water of the river below. At several points at these fountains are people who are kneeling and praying on basically rugs all around the fountains, and the entire area is completely, pretty much overrun with men in aqua blue armour that are all standing to attention at various points. It's very much a sort of safety in numbers sort of concept, as opposed to these guys looking particularly tough.
That was my next question.
Their armour, however, does appear to be very heavy. I think full suit of armour, knight sort of thing.
They must be roasted.
And they're carrying very heavy shields and have quite large spears in their hands, along with long swords which are slapped across their back.
Pretty sure they're not human then.
I could fully imagine that if I set them on fire, it would be rather toasty in that armour.
Ooh,
Let's maybe not
can I go
set
find
them
a
on
high spot
fire,
and drop a
though.
fireball down, like, and see it, like, drop it through someone's armor and leave it inside
What
their
about-
armor?
What about the people closer to us? Like, what are these people? Are they like sort of praying or?
Yeah, these are all people who are praying. But the if you give me a perception check.
Perception +1, 10.
Okay. You notice that the men are dressed in pretty much the exact same outfit as the Red Paladins, except their robes are blue and purple as opposed to the red. And then there appears to be what looks like a sisterhood here, because all of the women are dressed in grey and light blue, but the exact same style.
Do we know if they're any sort of like relation? Are they following the same religion, or?
Give me a religion check.
Oh, that's not.
I was going to say I was going to ask.
I'll
that.
allow all of you to do that if you want.
Can you roll
That's
for
a
me?
4 for Kishard.
I think my religion's like 2.
That is a 20, not natural.
Okay, so that beats Natalie 17. So, but Marilla, you know that pretty much everybody in Aqua Veda, unless they have a particular reason not to, worships the trout. But you do know that in the sort of like the Saxon way of doing things, there's numerous different churches, different for want of a better word, cults, but that follow different sects. That's it. Yeah.
Sects.
Yep. That's that basically follow their own way of worshipping the trout. So like Catholicism meets Church of England sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to be babbling about religious stuff then, as
Can
we
I just
enter
go
be like, and
stand
they have
next
all
to
the
one
physical
of them,
stuff, and they have like
the
loads of
rugs
different
just
factions
sort
and
of
blah.
stare at the statue and see
Blah,
if
blah,
somebody
blah.
talks to me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like sit on the barrel and just like stare at it. It doesn't do anything.
Okay, so the monk who is praying at this mat does his best to ignore you, but after like a full 5 minutes of doing this, he eventually stands up or sort of sits up and is like, "Yes,
What are you doing?
we are praying. Don't your people pray?"
No. What do you what's it do?
It summons the power of our great and powerful Saviour. If you do not pray, then you're clearly heathen.
My people just don't pray unless, but like you count eating things on a big table.
God will point out the errors of your way, heathen. But as for now, I must pray for your soul.
Pray to who?
He ignores you at that.
I don't think they know who they're praying to.
Jordan, come here.
Fine.
Come here, Jordan.
Okay.
Who do you think I talked to when I here last?
Your friend Lyria.
I mean, I wouldn't call her my friend. Lydia is a god. I pray to her. I do what these people are doing.
Okay. But they don't know what the name is. He just said
Theirs
God.
is called the trout. It is a different set of beliefs.
Okay. Trout's a fish though. You eat it. Does that mean we've been eating their god when we have dinner?
It's a very complex, deep thing, their religion.
Okay. I'm
So
just gonna
the-
sit there and carry on eating my fish.
So Hirok is basically just watching this with an amused look on his face, and eventually, whenever he finds an opening, says, "Before we meet the king, there's somebody I think you should meet. It's best that we meet out here, amongst less prying eyes than inside, shall we say?" So after a while, an elven woman comes out and makes a beeline straight over to you. Greetings. I assume you are the adventurers that have been ridding the town of various troublesome points.
We've been helping out.
Your modesty is commendable. And allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nefene. I'm the High Elf Counselor to King Ethelweird, the Mercer.
Ethelweird, yeah?
Mhm.
Ethelweird.
Both of you are smiling in the exact same sinister way.
I could make a really crude joke there, but I'm not going to.
Considering the interactions I've had with the religious sect around your fair city, you can't have the easiest time being the king's advisor as an elf.
Amongst other things, I can assure you. How much do you know about the layout of the governments of the Clinging Isles?
How much do we know?
You can give me history checks on that if you want.
Yeah.
NEPH
13?
INA.
IANE.
What did you say the king was called again?
Ethelweird.
Ethelweird. So put WEARD. Wayard. These are actual Saxon names that I've just taken from history books, so that's why it's so impossible to pronounce.
He's just now King Ethelweird.
Yep.
As in weird. He's a bit weird.
I got a 19.
Okay.
I got 13.
Okay. So you basically know.
That is
but
not a good
with-
place to hide your car.
With the exceptions of a couple of cities, but there's basically.
You want to hide your car?
So-
and then goes back.
I'll start that again. In the Clinging Isles, there are basically two superpowers: the High Elves and the Mages. And so, in every single city or place of power, with a couple of exceptions, each leader has a High Elf advisor and a Mage advisor. And so, because they're the two superpowers of the Clinging Isles, their agendas are often clashing.
Good to know.
Okay.
Nice to see elves having a good place.
So I take it that you guys just explain to this person how much you know.
Yeah.
So, well then, you'll probably know that all of this, and she looks around at all the praying people, is largely the response of my counterpart in the High Court.
Okay.
She says it's for the spiritual well-being of the kingdom, but I can see through it. When people are on their knees praying, they're not fighting, they're not tending the crops. Which means that they're much more dependent upon the intervention of the mages to fulfill their needs, shall we say.
So, praying is a bad thing?
When done en masse.
Oops. There you go.
And she basically starts walking around the courtyard with you. I won't move the tokens because that'll be too much hard work. But
Especially with this one that's deciding to do things to my computer.
so she basically goes through various points on her mind. I'm not really one for spoiling surprises, but you have been summoned here because you have a talent for killing monsters. Now, let's be frank. I know exactly who you are. You are alphas.
We may well be, but let's not be frank.
Yeah, you don't want to say the name Frank.
Why? What's wrong with saying the word frank? I could be frank if I want to be.
I'm just gonna look around
Let's stop
softly
saying
and
Fred instead. Fred sounds better than the other word. Let's all be Fred.
Oh no, I can't say that name, unfortunately.
Why can't you say Fred?
Why can't you say the name Fred?
Let's just say I know somebody named that, and
Okay, how...
and let's just say they have a problem with dressing in a dignified fashion.
That sounds like Frank.
Well,
We may need to discuss this person later.
well, you'll never hear me say his name, because saying his name summons him.
Yeah, normally when we say the F word, not that F word, but you know, the
Our F word.
our F word, we get someone up here as well.
Who is scantily dressed.
Then Hirok basically says, well, I can tell you what my F word is, but I have a feeling that would insult people.
Frodo?
Oh no, I don't say Frodo with an F, I spell it with a PH. For copyright reasons. Much like our god Thor, I can't say that because Disney will sue me, so I spell it with a PH as well.
Oh, I spell mine with a F.
Oh, okay.
Four.
And then after that, Frank appears behind her.
Oh no.
He's back in the suit.
If I may interrupt, I have been told that you are using provocative uses of the F word. I must ask you to stop this immediately, or face some legal consequences.
I thought Morena set him free of his clothing.
Weren't you wished to be free of that suit? Also, where's a lumber?
I'm afraid legally I do not know what you're talking about, and in terms of the wishes do take time to travel through time, shall we say. I am a past version of whichever Frank you may have met at whatever point in the timeline.
I'm just gonna sort of scratch my head and just go.
Well, that was strange. But anyway, I will be frank. We know exactly who you are, and we have tolerated your presence here simply at my own advisement. Let's not play with our words here. My counterpart wants you arrested and eliminated at first opportunity. The alphas and the majors do not hold a pleasant relationship.
Well, I'm a
Well, he
wizard.
is willing to try.
My people, on the other hand, we do recognise the importance of groups like the alphas, and we welcome you with as much enthusiasm as we can muster. However, there are many voices in the king's ear, and almost all of them want you dead.
Well, looks like not a lot's changed.
And so with that,
Sorry,
Sorry, what are you saying?
I was going to say, should we get to the point? What can we do?
Very well, yes, that is the attitude that you should maintain. For several weeks now, our outer fortresses along the southern coast have come under attack by magical water creatures. So far, we've been able to hold out simply due to the fact that the creatures don't seem to be able to materialise themselves for particularly long. However, there was an attack last week where the attack lasted for much longer than it should. And we're starting to see signs that a second attack is due to come. Given your talents and somewhat fame as alphas, we believe you may be able to do something about this.
Okay.
However, if that proves not to be true, you can probably guess what will end up happening.
So either we go fight these monsters and die trying or succeed, or we don't and we get killed anyway.
Exactly.
So basically we go fight monsters. Can I just say I don't know water?
I always welcome the opportunity to fight water.
Can I boil the water so it doesn't exist anymore?
But anyway, enough of that. We should go see the king. Please, come with me.
Lead the way.
As we walk, is it possible to ask her if she comes under any racial abuse?
She...
Like being called knife ears?
That is something which you will have to get used to. Some use it as a form of legitimate identification, others use it as an insult. Unfortunately, my position is most likely the cause of that. It's something that my counterpart in the Major's advisory unit utilise quite routinely. And let's just say it's somewhat spread.
Well, I think the work you're doing is wonderful.
Thank you, sister. Now, and she basically stops at the door to the main chamber. I will need you to give me a few moments to take my position and then enter. Hirok will know the routine. She basically goes in and closes the door behind her. Do you guys want to adhere to her wishes, or do you just want to barge straight in?
I'm quite happy to.
But I mean, I'm happy to if everyone else is.
Okay. So, Hirok basically waits for about 2 or so minutes and then admits himself through the door. So you step into this room, which, despite the fact that there's no immediate windows, because everything is basically stained glass right at the very top of the walls, so light is only coming through them, and there aren't any windows at sort of like any level below that. It's just a solid wall. So the only lights that are visible are the top layer of lights at the top of the building, a fire pit which is in the middle, which is used for cooking purposes, and then various candles and candelabras which are burning at different points of the room. You're basically at the bottom level, and then up a short flight of stairs is a raised area, which then takes you to where the throne is, and which basically sits in a sort of like U shape, where stairs go up and to a floor above, where several guards are waiting above, and then there's guards at each of the stairs.
Why does the guy in the middle look like he's about to rugby tackle us?
That's because he is. You recognise the guy in the middle as the really big guy who is escorting Lord Athelhelm.
Oh.
Wasn't he an elf?
Lord Athelhelm is a half-elf.
Half elf, thank you.
But he was also a bit of a dick.
Yes, if you give me a history check.
Is that for all of us?
Yep, all of you care to.
17.
19.
Okay, so you remember Athelhelm from whenever you met him, but you also remember Athelhelm from the Book of the Alphas that Turek was reading, where it actually lists Athelhelm specifically as being somebody who was once allied with the Alphas but then later betrayed them.
I don't think he's on our side.
Okay, so Hirok basically marches over. The guards at first make moves to stop him, but then realise who he is and then part. The big guy, however, takes much longer to do so, and they basically have something of a standoff before Athelhelm makes a sort of hand gesture, which the big guy acknowledges and then steps aside. And Hirok basically gestures you guys over.
I'll follow up.
I guess we go over.
So Hirok basically gives a very over-exaggerated bow, and then simply says, "Lord King, ladies," and then doesn't make any sort of additional point for Athelhelm and the guy in red and purple. I have brought the warriors that you requested. They're very eager to be of service to you. Aren't you?
I follow the same greeting that Hero have done.
Yeah, I bow.
I'm just gonna, like, bob because I can't really bend in the middle.
And the king basically nods and says, "Excellent." And so Hirok then steps aside. And he then steps down from his throne. And you can see that despite the fact that he's quite well built, and this is clearly a king who leads by doing things, as it were, he's actually quite short. He's only just 5 foot tall. And he basically walks over to you. "I've heard of your exploits in the city, Lord," and he holds out a hand to you, Kashan.
I take his hand and...
"Warriors of your caliber will always be welcome here. You have my thanks." And then he turns to you, Morella. "Sisters of Lyria will always be welcome here, despite recent noise which is being made in the streets. Isn't that right, Lord Commander?" He says over his shoulder to the purple guy. And the purple guy basically steps forward and says, "Lord, this woman is a knife ear. This lord that you have thanked is not human. You should expel them from this hall at once before they infect us all with their shabbiness."
How close is he to us?
But in
Do
regards
we know
to...
this guy's name?
You don't, but going by sort of like his outfit and his colour scheme, you can guess that he's a red paladin.
So how close is he standing to us?
To you, 10 feet.
Oh. I wondered if I could accidentally trip him over with my tail subtly without doing it, like, as if it was just completely by accident that he just fell over my tail.
Well,
My tail's not 10 feet long, so...
well, fortunately, the king doesn't appear to be of an opinion to listen to him. So, "Thank you, Lord Commander, you may leave." "Now, Majesty, I must protest. I said you can leave. If I recall, I am King of Aqua Veda, not you."
That
No.
guy's not going to murder the king
Bow
or nothing.
deeply at his comment. Even whilst this is happening, and I'm just gonna murmur and my breath being like, "Thank you, Your Highness." Doesn't matter if he hears or not. It's just as a gesture of goodwill.
So, the Lord Commander blusters for a moment and then then bows and starts heading up the stairs. And then the king calls after him, and take your monks with you." The two red paladins basically look uncertain for a moment, and then the blue armoured guards they don't necessarily point their weapons threateningly at them, but they pick them up in a way that basically says, "Okay, what happens now?" sort of thing to them. And they both bow and depart. So now that you're at this level, you can basically see the two women who are sitting on chairs next to where the king was. One is the elf that you saw before, so this person. And then the other one is an impossibly beautiful woman who is wearing a dress that is so revealing, it doesn't necessarily imply sexiness, but more begs the question, why did she bother wearing anything at all?
Frank would love her.
And she is basically sitting... The elf is sitting in a very dignified fashion, whereas the mage, that's who you basically identify her as, is basically leaning back in her chair with her legs only just crossed over enough that you can't see right up her dress.
Well,
So he gives a similar greeting to Turek, and basically says, warriors and monks will always be welcome here to practice the faith of the dead. Unfortunately, it is a service that we have much need of, but not enough resources of. You are most welcome. And then to you, now to you, basically says, and your people will always be welcome here. Your trade goods are something very much sought after. Perhaps we could arrange some sort of business after this.
I have a bearskin rug. I'm just gonna offer the king a bearskin rug.
For free, or?
I just have one in my barrel, so why not?
He nods at it appreciatively and then clicks one of his fingers. One of the guards comes over and takes it from you, and basically takes it off into a back room. Your gift is very well appreciated. Thank you. And he bows deeply to you.
You can do my little bob again, because I tried to bow and the barrel hits the floor, so I can't really bend. So I just sort of bounce.
So, I hear that you've been causing something of a disruption within my city. He basically turns and sits back down on his throne.
We didn't disrupt anything, unless you count the basilisk heck going flying.
Unfortunately, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Tell me, they say you went down there and fought 500 of these creatures, is that correct?
No.
Slight exaggeration.
How slight, would you say?
495 more?
There were only 5,
You see.
but they seem to be young.
Indeed. And I also hear that you've managed to rid us of the bandits that were blockading the North Road. They say that you fought an entire army of orcs up there.
No. It was 4? I don't think I was actually here on that daily session. So.
Again, a bit of an exaggeration, Lord King.
Oh, how disappointing. Must be a bad day for the poets. Though I also understand that your group has, shall we say, a less of appreciation of people like bards, from what I can tell from your activities in one of my sister cities.
That wasn't us, that was somebody else.
Of course. But, shall we get down to business?
What
How
can
many
we do
basket
for you?
rugs do you want then?
What I'm about to tell you must not leave this room, under any circumstances. Am I understood?
Very well.
Course.
Excellent. And he clicks his fingers. And the guards that are up top basically just turn around and depart. Along with the 2 sort of servants which are lingering on the lower levels.
He is a very trusting king to send his guards away.
After a moment, it appears that nobody else is going to leave. And he basically turns to Athelhelm. He's like, you too, Lord. And Athelhelm basically turns and like, Lord, I must protest. You know, as well as I do, exactly who these people are. You cannot trust them to not take advantage of the laxness of this new security routine.
Can I just do catapult and just fling him out of the room?
Can if you want.
I just catapult on this guy and I want to fling
We're
him out
not the
room.
ones with a history of betrayal.
Yeah, I've just catapult and I'm just going to fling him out. Door, I'm assuming, is over here. That I can't ping for some reason.
You can.
Is that a door?
You can catapult him in that direction. As to whether or not he'd go through the door is.
Or is there's a big door down here, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm going to cat him through the big door because it's better aim. Better bigger hole to throw through.
Okay. Do you need to roll anything for it?
No. It's a, what do you call it, throw?
A dex throw.
Dex throw thingy, my bob.
He got a 19.
Yeah, so he survived the dexterity throw. Dexterity saving throw. Fine.
So what happens to him?
Nothing, no damage.
Okay. At that point, the big guy draws his... his broadsword is already drawn, but he basically puts it into an attack position.
I didn't remember. Sorry.
And the king basically just holds out a hand. There will be no bloodshed within my hall.
You wanted him out of the room. I threw him out of the room. He didn't get hurt.
Right, I thought you said that nothing happened to him. So has he been thrown or...
Yeah, but he hasn't impacted on anything.
Oh, right, okay.
He took no damage, but he's still been catapulted.
Right, okay, that's what I was asking. There'll be no bloodshed in my hall. And Lord, I appreciate your concern for my safety, but having an additional man within this my walls will make little difference. However, should I become overwhelmed, I promise you, I will scream very loudly for your help.
I love nobody cares. I just threw this guy across the room, like catapulted him.
Athelhelm basically straightens up and bows to the king. Yes, king. However, I will request that my man Wermund remain behind in case these people attempt anything further on you. And the king basically weighs this in his hands like, yes, that's fair. Remain close, Athelhelm. I'll have use for you in a moment. He turns to Hirok. You too, my friend. Majesty, lords. And Hirok departs in a much more dignified fashion. In future, it would be best to remember that I eject people from my hall, not you.
I assumed you wanted him gone.
Well, this hasn't left me bored, so I shall allow that. But anyway, to business. Magical creatures have begun attacking our fortifications along our southern coast. I assume that's what's brought you alphas here.
Yes. Ouch, that hurt either.
Good. I hope that you understand your presence here presents me with something of a dilemma. Alphas are known allies of the Danish hordes, and it is my duty, as a Saxon, to have you killed on sight. Something that my magical advisor here would advise greatly. However, my pointed-eared friend here would disagree with completely wholeheartedly. So as you see, I am at a loss of what to do with you. And so I give you a task to complete. Complete it, and you may consider my curiosity piqued enough to dispense with the immediate need to kill you.
Okay.
Well, I've served Aquavira before, Lord. What can I do for you now?
That you have. which adds to your credibility, I must say. We're unsure which particular fortress is going to be attacked, but we're showing signs that an attack is imminent. I've sent my best men to defend these forts, but we're still unsure as to what exactly is attacking us. We don't know if it is a mage of particular intent, or whether this is some punishment from the divine trout. But it appears that the water itself is what is attacking my fortresses. Now, allies of the Danes or not, I'm sure you understand what would happen should those fortresses fall. Those fortresses are the only things stopping the Danish hordes, or any other enemies, from destroying my city yet again.
We'll do what we can to resolve the situation.
Very good. So, in that regard, you shall journey to the fortress of Hammerfeld, where one of my best lieutenants, Mirwala, is holding command there. You report there, follow his orders to the letter, and defend the fortress should it come under attack. And remember, any evidence that you can gather of anything at all during this potential fight, you are to bring it back. And remember, I value that information more than I do any tales of heroism. Any information that you gather will do you no good unless you bring it back. The journey to the fortress is something of a long one. I would advise you to gather up provisions, weapons, as you'll engage in this venture completely on your own initiative. Once complete, and proven that you are allies to this realm, you will then receive stipends from the Royal Treasury. Now I'd advise you go. I have things to discuss with my non-catapulted men.
You asked him to leave.
Okay, are you guys okay to depart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, can I, before we leave,
Oh.
I've still got this message, from the, I don't have his name written down, but there was a commander that we were supposed to try and meet on Herog's discretion. Is he back in town, or?
Captain Oddard's
The one.
but he's not in... Captain Behrman, rather. But you can ask the king if you want.
Yeah. I'll just say, like, before we go, I've got a message that we believe might be for, which captain was it? How much was it?
Raymond.
Raymond. That's not. Hey, we've got an avatar. Yeah, so I'll ask the king about it if he knows. Maybe.
He is, unfortunately, sailing with the fleet patrolling the coast. Perhaps, should you come under attack with the fort, you may run into him there.
Yeah, very well, Lord. Well, in that case, I guess I've got nothing else to ask, I don't think.
Yeah, okay. Dang it. Come on. Sorry, my thing is misbehaving. Right. Okay, so you go through the... You depart the throne room and you end up in the palace entrance. You You pass Athelhelm, who very distinctly makes no attempt to acknowledge you whatsoever. And Hirok is waiting further down the corridor for you.
I'm going to
I
go
distinctly smile a very toothy grin at Ethelhelm as we walk past, and continue to Hero.
Okay, so Hirok is basically just sitting on a bench and then straightens up whenever he sees you. Well, that was in good jest. I'm not entirely sure if that was a good move.
I can only apologise so much for the lizard.
Well,
I'm just going to like shake a bottle of ale that I just pulled out of my barrel.
oh, I won't say no to that. But beware, Athelhelm has a long memory. He will remember that, and let me say about Saxons and justice, they're not the same thing.
The king told him to leave. He said no, so I ejected him before the king. You
Yes,
do what your king says. You have no choice.
Yes, Athelhelm was in the wrong, but whether Athelhelm recognises that is a completely different story. And let me give you some advice. He doesn't forget things like this.
That's fine. I don't even know how to spell his name, so.
Well, I'd advise you to return to your base, gather up whatever you can, and set off first thing in the morning. It will be about a day's trip from the city, so if you were to leave now, you would have to... Who exactly are you attacking, Kashan?
Oh, I'm just rolling for the sake of rolling, I'll be honest.
Okay.
I used to have my patience to see which rolling.
But it will take about a day to travel from the city, so if you were to travel now, you would have to make camp somewhere midway, and that's not something I would recommend right now. So gather your things, gather provisions, but I would say pack for at least a week. You may be there for a while.
Okay. What do we know about like the fort and stuff? Is there going to be like room to be? Are we staying at the fort itself? So there's going to be like places to sleep, eat, etc.
So as he's explaining this to you, Hirok is basically leading you through the courtyard, and it seems to be more the fact that you're with him that the guards aren't sort of questioning your presence.
Mm-hmm. That tracks.
So he basically explains the fortress that you are being sent to is a fortress that spans the entrance of a river. It's what we call a chain fort, basically designed to stop ships from travelling upriver. Mirala is stationed on the west side, so I'd advise you go there. But there's enough dorms there for an entire army. This is a fort that's very much designed to house the entire military fjord of an entire region. So you'll have plenty of space there.
Very well.
Oh,
Do we have anything we potentially need?
aside from food, provisions, and obviously weapons, I would say no.
Okay, good to know.
I will allow myself a moment of pride. I did help build the fortress which you are heading to. As recognition of my service, the king, or rather the king's father, he allowed me governance of the region. It was my idea to build the fort there. So I asked, please, take care of it.
We'll do what we can, friend.
Thank you. Now, lords, I must leave you. And may death smile on you all. And may you live long enough to smile back.
Not creepy.
I'm just going to smile at him and just assume he wanted you to smile back. Or like the attempt, when they try to, in the How to Train Your Dragon bit, and Toothless is trying to smile and it's all like wobbly mouthed.
We'll
Okay.
teach you, don't worry. We'll teach you how to smile.
Okay, so you are basically in the the palace district of Aqua Veda. So is there anything that you would like to do before you head back to the Alpha base.
Is my armor ready?
You can go check.
Yes. I will go check. Also, should we go and speak? How long has it been since we spoke to this guy who was inquiring about the silverware that we had?
About 5 days now.
Is it worth checking in with him, do you think, guys?
Probably. I'd also like to get some more trail rations, so I don't starve on the way there.
Yeah, probably a good shout.
Okay, so do you want to visit the Noble Dwarf first?
Yeah. Go for the... What sort of time is it? Can we make this crossing?
It's getting to about midday, so you're sort of in that period where it's slightly higher tide than low tide, but it's getting to high tide now.
Okay. I guess we'll cross the bridge. I'll go to the blacksmith first then.
Okay, so you got the noble dwarf here, and then you've got the guy who's working on your armor here.
Yeah, I figure if I go speak to this dude, then we can go. Yeah, and then we've got to cross this bridge again to
Okay.
go back over anyway.
Okay, so you go to the orc blacksmith, and as you are doing so, you basically start hearing people just like generically talking, and from what you can understand, that there appears to have been stories circulating that in Blue Moon Spire, a bunch of ghostly dogs are starting to appear at sporadic points throughout the land. And also that the High Elf army has met the undead force in a place called Verdansk.
I would make notes, but unfortunately.
The high up army.
Good
Who's
day.
that?
Right, so give me a history check.
11.
Okay.
I'm just looking at this picture.
You remember whenever you were taking shelter from the knife rain, the bartender was basically discussing that an undead army had appeared in the High Elf land, and that an army was being assembled to go and meet them.
Oh, did you say high elf army? I thought you said high up army.
And technically he said High Elves, so...
Okay.
Is that in? I'm guessing that's in. I don't want to butcher the name.
Municipalus.
Yeah. I know how to pronounce it. I'm from there. Yeah.
Yes, the High Elf army is meeting the undead at a place called Verdansk, which is basically this village here.
And Blue Moon Spire has got ghostly dogs now.
Yeah, we shared
Yeah.
the map with us tonight.
Wasn't that the place that was like covered in shadows and stuff?
I have, but your
Was that Blue Moon
connection
Spire?
doesn't appear to work, so if you try refreshing the page. So, what did you say, David?
There you go.
Was Blue Moon Spire the place that was like all shadow and stuff? Like there wasn't any word coming from it.
No, that's Pines Reach. Blue
Oh.
Moon Spire, you don't know what's happening there, simply because the Alphas don't have a presence there.
Oh, okay. This is the stuff I should have kept a note of. Like, there's bits that I'm like,
I'm going to close it. Give it a minute and then reopen it.
Okay.
I think it tried to launch while you were between swapping the maps.
Sure. Okay, so you basically hear these rumours going round, and then so you basically come to the Orcish blacksmith, and he seems quite happy to see you. He's like, Lord, you'll be happy to know that I've managed to complete your armour a full day ahead of schedule.
most impressive.
Now, please, if you would like to stand here and we can try it on for you. And he basically points you to effectively a tree stump, which he appears to have cut himself and is using as a sort of a step for you to stand on.
Yeah.
I can't find anything.
and there's a mannequin against the wall where this chainmail vest is. Sorry, chainmail dress rather, is waiting on it. So you basically pulls it off, and you notice that the metal has something of an oil effect. You know, whenever you add like petrol to water, you get that sort of like marble effect.
Yeah.
The armor has that as it reflects the light on it. So, now, this, shall we say, armor has a curious smelting process. So you may find that the armor might smell somewhat in your first few days of use, but it will dissipate. So would you like to try it on, Lord?
Yeah.
So I take it you take off your current
Yeah, I'll
chainmail.
take off my current chainmail.
Okay. And he very delicately drapes it over you, and it gives that very definitive, clink in the way the metal does. However, this, whatever it is, barely weighs anything at all on you.
Oh.
But you see, when you put it on, you find that it is a little bit ill-fitting, somewhat on you. But over the course of like the next hour, he basically just pulls out a couple of rings, puts some extra ones in, so that it becomes more fitting for you. So, and Lord, how is that? Are you satisfied?
Yeah. It's very light.
Okay. So if you want to add an armor +1 to your inventory, so a chainmail +1, or I can do it for you if you like.
I'll do it. It's fine.
Your AC is going to be through the roof at this point.
Isn't that part of the point?
To equipment. It's decent. We're at 21, guys. I'm an armored boy.
How do you get higher than a 21 in it?
You roll the dice and then you add the to hit modifier.
So basically, you gotta hope that your to hit modifier is like a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean most enemies have a to hit modifier of like 6 or 7, so so enemies are quite likely to still be able to hit you, but no, significantly less than like a standard person. So,
Good.
so Lord, now that we have concluded this business, I must ask, what do you plan on doing with your old chainmail vest?
I was planning on just selling it. Do I owe this guy money? I can't quite remember what I said.
Yes, you do. You basically decided on gold plus the chainmail vest itself.
Yeah.
He's basically reminding you of that, but is too polite to come out straight about it.
I'll say that I was planning on just selling it, but I believe that I still owe him as payment. So I'll bestow it upon himself.
Thank you, Lord. In that case, that will be 20 gold.
Yeah, I'll pay the man his 20 gold.
Okay, and if you want to remove your chainmail from the
Yeah, I will do.
from the inventory, do you also want to sell some of your excess weapons to him?
Yes, I've got a spare mace and like my normal shield, unless anybody is in need of like a shield or a mace. They can use said things.
Not shaking your head.
No, I have a long bow and a sword that I need a long sword to sell.
Okay,
I gained.
let me find my looting chart. Okay, so the mace he'll buy for 4 gold pieces.
I'll take that.
Okay. You say you had a longsword.
No, I gave the longsword that I had to the guards and stuff, so I've got a mace and I've got the spare shield.
Shield. He'll do 7 gold for that.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'll get rid of those.
Okay.
No need to be over encumbered.
No, what did you have?
A long bow and a long sword.
Okay, so the longbow, he will do 10 gold for.
Okay.
And the longsword, he will do 13 gold.
So I got 23 total.
If you agree to sell.
Yeah.
Okay. Rayla, do you have anything?
I don't think so. I think I might be all good. I think I've got everything I need.
Okay. It's a pleasure doing business with you, Lord. And if you wouldn't mind, and he pulls out a small scroll, would you mind filling out this feedback form?
Yeah, I'll give them a positive feedback.
It's basically questions like, out of 10, how pleased are you with this service?
I'll give him an 8.
And
Actually, you know what? No, I'll give him a solid 10. He's got it done a day early. He's made some adjustments and stuff. Yeah.
How-
I'm
how
with
happy
my-
are you with the pricing?
The pricing was good, I guess. I mean, I don't really have a another reference for it, but the armor's of good quality, so I feel like I got a decent deal for it.
Okay. And how likely are you to recommend his services to a friend?
Very highly.
Thank you, Lord. And he takes a scroll from you. I bid you sharp weapons and a heavy blow.
And to you.
Okay.
Alright, I'll leave him be.
Okay, so which route are you going to take to get to to the noble guy? Are you basically going to cut through the market, or are you going to take
I
a
was
different
gonna
route?
say, should we head to the market to get rations and stuff, like food?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you can basically get things like fruit, dried fish from this guy. You can get just like raw root vegetables from this guy, and then meat from this guy, and wine, stuff like that from this guy.
Do we still have our... How did we
Yeah,
get here?
general goods.
Did we have a carrot, a horse and cart? Or did we just walk?
You're just walking at the moment.
How did we get to the actual city itself?
You walked again.
We walked again. Okay. I was wondering if maybe we should potentially get something to
Horse and
take us,
cart.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Okay. Give me a history check, please.
Is that from both of us or?
Whoever wants to do it.
I'll let you.
Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, not too bad. 15.
Okay. You remember whenever you first entered the city, that the city stables are at the western gate of the city. So if you wanted to procure a horse or a pack animal, you would get it from there.
Okay.
Would we also get a trailer with that? Can we get a car anywhere?
You don't remember seeing one, but it's a good place as any to get one from.
Okay. Good to know. How much would it cost us to get the various sort of provisions that we need?
Okay, right. So it depends on who you get them from, but general rations. How many are you hoping to get?
Well, if we're supposed to be away for a week, like everybody needs to be able to eat during that time?
I need probably about 4 or 5 to like last.
I've apparently got 2 on me at the moment.
I think I've got 3.
I had some and then pressed the stupid button.
Okay.
I've lost half my inventory. I did something and I've deleted a couple of things.
Right, okay. Let me see if I can fix that for you. Right, so basically, rations come in packs. So in order to get a pack of rations that would last you for a single day is 5 silver, more or less. Haggling not included. So you would basically need to have rations that would last you for the day's travel and the day back, so that's at least 2. You would then need to possibly have rations for any mission that they would then send you out on. And then potentially, if there is a food shortage at the fort for whatever reason, you would need to provide food yourself. Hirok has advised you that you should just simply use your own goods and not the provisions at the fort. So it would probably be advisable that you get between 5 and 8 rations each.
Okay. I will set to sort of just make mine up to like, so I've got like 10 days worth of rations, so I've got obviously a couple of extra depending on sort of, you know, what
Yeah, that's
may
what I
happen.
was gonna do.
So that would be 50 silver, which would equate to 5 gold.
Well, I'd only need to get 8 because I've got 2 already, so it'd be like 4 gold.
Okay.
I think
I've
mine
Yeah.
managed to get my stuff back to normal.
Wait.
Okay.
All I did was somehow I moved it from one thing into another thing.
Okay. Right, so how much does Turek have?
I have 4 rations.
I'm
I
happy
also
enough to
can
just
eat
spend the 4
raw, so
gold. I
technically I
don't
can go
particularly care to.
Okay,
I need
so
5, which is 2 gold, 5 silver.
right, so Turek only has 1, so he'll need to buy quite a few. So
Are you worrying about encumbrance or
I'm just saying D&D Beyond sort that out.
no?
to be
But
honest.
if somebody goes over encumbered or whatever.
There are rules behind that, yes.
Yeah, so are you doing that? Is what I'm asking.
At some point, yes.
Okay. Because my character being quite small can carry sweet Fanny Mae's.
Yep.
And are we still exhausted?
No. Okay. So how many rations would you need to buy?
I've got 4, but technically, as I said, I can hunt more them out as well.
Okay.
Because I tend to eat my meat. I can eat meat raw.
Okay. Right, so are you guys satisfied here, or do you want to do some more shopping?
Is it possible to buy a couple more healing kits anywhere?
I think this guy had them, didn't he? This one.
But the guy who Nasty's at will probably be the best person to speak to. But as far as you can tell, you haven't really seen somebody who is a designated healer in the city. Yeah, there
Okay.
doesn't appear to be
I
like a
will-
hospital or anything there.
Oh, that's very bad of them. Yeah, I'll go over to this guy.
Hello, adventurers! My pointed-eared friend and my, whatever you are, friend. How may I assist you?
This is gonna be a very big question. Do you, by any chance, sell any healing kits?
Well, I'm not necessarily one that you would define as a healer, but I do have some of these curious boxes that appear to have various cloths and salts and things in them. So I have been told that these are healing kits by my my supplier. So I could give these to you for a fair price, I assure you.
Can I have a look at them
Okay.
to make sure they actually look like healing kits?
He's like, yes, certainly. And he gives you a box, making sure that he's still holding on to one of them, but enough.
Oh, I'm not gonna take it out of his hand. I just want to open the lid or whatever it is and just look to make sure it matches up to what I've got.
Yeah, so It's basically like a little leather box. It's more like a pouch, but the items are giving it a certain rigidity to it. It's got a bandage, salve, a small vial of what looks like salt, which is basically used as disinfectant, and a series of sticks, which are then wrapped around with cloth, which you would then use to make it into a splint.
Okay. Yep. Okay then. What price are we talking?
Well, I was told that these are, well, they're quite valuable. So, shall we say 5 gold each? I've got 3 of these.
Okay. Then, sure.
Very well, and he reaches under the counter and pulls out 2 more of these leather pouches. And says, there you are, my pointed-eared friend. I hope you have no need to actually use them.
Well, they're my backup for my first line of healing.
Of course. And my reptilian friend, how can I assist you?
Do you have the leather scraps I bought the other day that I didn't take?
Yes, I did wonder if you would come back for those. Here you are.
Thank you.
Of course, there is a holding fee.
I promise not to eat your fingers.
That's more than adequate, yes. But while you're here, my lizardy friend, I was wondering, my cat has managed to find some creatures of a rodentish capacity. Would you be interested at all in this box of mice?
Three mice.
I'm afraid my cat has only managed to catch 2, but if you want them, I'm sure we could make a deal.
No.
Oh, very well, very well. I'll just have to give them to my butcher friend across the way.
I would just eat them anyway.
Okay, Kashan, is there anything that you would like to buy?
Outside of the Russians,
Are you dropping hints that I should be buying mice now?
I'm saying that there is a way that you could use them to your advantage.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything particularly that I need. No, I think outside of the rations and stuff like that, there's nothing from the market I'm looking for, I don't think.
Okay. So you guys then going to head back to the Alpha base, or do you want to explore the city a little bit?
Well, we need to speak to the stable guys.
Mm-hmm.
And
the nobly guy. I'm assuming this is nobly guy.
That's a noble guy, but not the noble guy. So do you want to speak to the noble dwarf first, or do you want to go...
where did you say it was the west side of the city? Was that where northeast?
basically, this gate. So, basically any of the gates that are along this wall.
I'm not sure. You should.
Oh, sorry.
Since I know mine went funny, I didn't know if it was
Yeah, so basically any of the gates along this wall would have dedicated stables to them.
Okay. Should we go speak to this guy here and then go down?
Sure.
Okay.
Hmm?
So you make your way over to the merchant's house, knock on the door in the way that you did before, and after a while the dwarf comes over and lets you in. Like, lord, it's good to see you again. But please, come in, come upstairs.
Very well.
I'm gonna pet the horse.
Please be careful with that horse. It's the only one that I have at this moment. Just
Be nice to the horse. I like horses.
of course. Just be careful. If you walk behind her, she will kick.
No, I'm stroking her. She's quite happy. I think we're quite good animals there.
So, Lord, you'll be very pleased to hear that I've managed to open my shop without any difficulties or banditry, and I've got quite a sizable reservoir of funds that I can send your way in exchange for those most marvellous plates of yours.
That's Morelli's
Uh,
plates.
Was it? I was going to say it wasn't me with the plates and stuff. Was it? It was Maria.
No, Charlotte.
Balls. Yes. I still have them, and I'm going to get them gently out of my bag, and I'll come up the stairs.
Magnificent, I must say. But yes, I am now in a position to offer you substantially more than my initial offer. I can give you 10 gold pieces each for both bowls, and out of a symbol of friendship and trust, I will also give 10 gold for the broken plate as well.
Oh my god, I just knocked something over. I'm gonna look at Shan. I'm gonna be like, is this a good offer?
I have no idea on the value of these plates. I don't think.
Can I go and inspect the plates and see if I can offer any insight?
Wait, is this a good...
Give me a history check.
Okie dokie. Ooh, 15 again.
14.
Okay. Okay. People have offered substantially less than this. As to whether or not the plates are specifically worth what he's offering, you don't know. However, the last time that you were here, he indicated that these do have the potential to be worth a substantial amount. But at the moment you don't have the complete set. So if you were to basically hold on to them and then acquire the full set, you could be looking at a small fortune.
Can I check and see if there's
Would
anything
we
magical
ever
about
get the
plates?
full set?
It's possible.
I'm gonna look like a small child up to Kashan and be like, if we collect them all, we get more money. But will we collect them all? I don't understand how this works very well.
I'll ask the merchant if we sell them to him sort of bit by bit, if he would give us a bonus if we complete the set.
Well, Lord, that is the question. I mean, having the full set would be a marvellous thing. I'm not entirely sure how realistic that idea is, but if you were to pull it off, Lord, I'll be most gracious to you, and yes, I would most happily pay you extra for the full set.
I mean, I'm happy enough to sort of take the small amount of money for now, and then if we gather more things, we can always return to sell them to him.
Marilla, are you happy with that?
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Okay. So if you want to hand over the plates and get 30 gold in exchange, to add to the substantial amount of money which you got for doing the one shot.
There we go.
So how much money do you actually have now?
134. No. That doesn't sound...
Yeah, you got
Right.
110 because
Yes.
you're weight.
I hadn't... Yes. That sounds right. 134.
Damn, I'm not the richest member anymore.
You should have played the one shot. We got our weight in gold.
Oh, we got a lot of money.
Oh man, I would have been so rich.
Can I show him all my shiny stones?
Sure.
Let's see what he wants.
Which one do you want to show him?
All of my shiny stones. I have lots. I have, when I can find it.
Inventory?
I have a ruby, a sapphire, an obsidian, a garnet, 2 bloodstones.
Okay. So he basically goes through each one.
And I have a human skeletal hand. As
Yeah.
well.
Oh, yeah. So you're using to point at things.
Yes.
What did I miss?
I thought she wanted me to take the skeleton down, so I pulled the skeleton down. And then
It's
decided the
definitely-
hand made me look taller because I could reach people's hands to shake hands.
Definitely not what we were going for, but
Okay. So he looks at the 2 bloodstones. These are certainly magnificent pieces. I would happily give you 75 gold for both of them.
What about the other stones?
What are the other ones?
A ruby, a sapphire, an obsidian, and a garnet.
Well, this ruby, wow, this truly is something special. My word. And you start sweating somewhat. Whew, I'm afraid this particular thing is somewhat outside of my my ability to buy from you. But I could quite easily tell you that something like this, something so precious, would easily be worth about 3, if not 4,000 gold.
leave.
That's a very expensive ruby, Jesus.
I am
Oh my
walking around
God.
with the most expensive piece of treasure in my barrel.
I think we should hold on to that one.
Yes, most definitely, and hang on to it very, very, very closely. Something like this, whew, people would very easily kill for this.
Matt didn't give me this for some sort of plot loophole.
As for the sapphire, again, a very valuable piece. But I myself, well, let's say Aqua Veda isn't necessarily named for its waterways and rivers. It's the blueness of Aqua Veda does come from its ability to mine sapphires up in the mountains. So in Aqua Veda, this wouldn't necessarily be worth that much, but in places other than Aqua Veda, or anywhere that doesn't directly trade with it, these things would be worth substantial, easily 1,000 gold.
Okay, I'm also going to put that back in my barrel. I've made that little pocket inside my barrel to store this stuff, by the way.
Okay, and obsidian was the other one.
Yeah, and a garnet, but I'm not too fussed because I don't think the garnet. I think we've appraised garnet before.
Okay.
Oh, and I have lamia claws.
This chunk of obsidian, I mean, I'd be more than happy to buy this from you, but I could tell you, in the lands of men, obsidian isn't particularly worth a lot. They prefer items which they can use for sake of war, and obsidian is, well, it's effectively glass. It doesn't really serve that much purpose. If you were, however, to sell it to people of my race, the dwarfs, or even the high elves, they will most definitely give it to you for something substantially more. As I said, I would be happy to buy this for 10 gold, but if you were to give it to any of them, they'd most definitely buy it for substantially more.
That's fine. I just wanted they're pretty sound.
And as for the garnet stone, he examines this a little bit more closely. Is that it's a pity it's a little bit chipped on one side, but I'd be happy to give you 100 gold for this. I could fit it into a ring and make quite a sizable profit from this.
No, it's fine. I keep it.
Very well, very well. Marilla, do you have any treasures that you would like to sell?
Because gold is, I think gold includes in my weight, isn't it?
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm gonna keep a hold of all my little gemstones.
You sure you don't want him to appraise them for you?
I was just curious how much they were worth.
I will. I will give him my amethyst.
Okay.
I don't know how I've got so many.
Bear with me. Now I'll sort out Morella and then I'll go through. Your barrel was probably weighing you down.
The barrel thing didn't put weight on.
So he runs his little spyglass over it and is like, yes, this is a fancy stone of quite high quality and size. I would be happy to offer you 300 gold for this.
Strength score, that's why minus, isn't it?
I'm gonna say a little quick prayer to Lyria. Like, is it okay if I sell this? Because with the money I can put it to more good. But I'll keep my other gemstones in honor of you. And just hope she's fine with it or I get an answer.
I mean, I'm assuming she would be fine with it. You did build an entire bust in the alpha
Well,
base.
yeah, but I use my gemstones when I pray. So I'm like, I hope it's okay, because I can't use it for you anymore.
You don't
And
get
then
any response from Lyra in the form of like a sign or anything like that.
I will go. I think it's okay. I think. Yeah. I don't know. I'll like definitely pass it over.
Okay, so I've forgotten how much he said he was going to give to you because the trailer of Fast and Furious appeared on my screen.
Did you say?
Yeah, 300 I think is what I said.
I think so. Oh.
Yeah, so he'll quite happily give you 300 for it.
Nice.
Let me just quickly see if Turek has anything.
Drinks are on Morella tonight.
Not that you drink.
It's non-alcoholic plum
drink a
Elvish
milk
wine.
I'll drink a milk in her honor.
Oh, thank you so much.
But, Lord, is there anything that you would like to buy, or are you just selling today?
What do you sell?
I sell things of multiple descriptions.
And he owes me money as well, by the way.
Does he?
Yes, because I gave him a rug to help start his business.
He didn't quite interpret it that way. He sort of thought you were doing it for the sake of charity. But, no, of course. If that is the deal, and he himself starts sweating as well. But if that was the deal, then of course I can easily give you. How much did we agree on again?
Store discount.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, and he brightens up completely. Yes, of course I can. Obviously, give you a certain amount of credit in regards to goods purchased from my stores. Of course, yes.
So what do you sell? Other than my rug.
Well, I specialise in luxury items. I can organise various jewellery for you, various clothing attires for dealing with high-end events. I have a great number of books in my collection, various goods for members of the adventuring crowd, which I'm sure you can appreciate. I would even sell my cart if somebody wanted to buy it from me. Intend.
What do you sell it for?
Oh, well, I'd quite happily sell this rickety old thing. I mean, it's hardly the best cart in the world, as you saw at the gate, but I'd be quite happy to be rid of this thing for you, lords and ladies, easily 10 gold.
Discount.
That is with a discount.
Discount.
Give me a persuasion check.
Done.
I've just learned a new word. She's just going to keep saying this. What do I need to roll?
Yeah, persuasion.
Not performance.
Yeah, persuasion.
They're both the same. So. Oh, natural 20.
Okay. Very well, very well. I will do it for 7 gold, given the rickety nature of it.
I'll fish out 7 gold.
Marvellous, marvellous. Of course, I will keep it here until you bring a pack beast to escort the cart away.
I'm just sitting on the horses here.
Can we take the cart somewhere to get repaired? Because it was kind of rickety, wasn't it? Or has it been sort of repaired?
The bad wheel has been replaced, but carts are like one of those things that when the act of like removing a wheel can damage the various points that connect the wheel to the awning. So there is a possibility that by the virtue of it being replaced, it's been further damaged.
No, I don't have the mending spell on this one.
Do you, Marilla?
I'm sorry.
Do you have the
what
mending
skill
spell?
was that? I don't.
I know one of my characters does, but it's not this one.
Is there ways to like assess how well it's been repaired?
Do you have proficiency in land vehicles?
I haven't got a clue in the slightest. I've got nothing in my proficiency in languages bit, so I'm going to assume not.
Okay, so unfortunately you can't tell. I mean, you can give me an investigation with disadvantage, but you really need to sort of like be learned in land vehicles in order to properly assess it.
I got an 11.
Okay, you can see that it's been scuffed and battered in various places, but other than that, it looks like a solid card that the guy's been using it for years. So it's obviously got some good. It's like come from a reputable brand, as it were.
Okay.
Let me just check something out of the sake of irony. Yep, Alumba was proficient in land vehicles.
What a shocking turn of events.
Okay, so do you guys now want to head to the stable to organise getting a horse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell me they're My Little Ponies.
Unfortunately not, given that I would have done, but I didn't want to avoid getting harassed for copyright on YouTube. So
They're called my tiny Shetland horses.
well, basically in a campaign that I was doing for Nat and one of her friends, they bought a horse and I made all the tokens My Little Pony horses.
And Maya made all the tokens My Little Pony.
I adore that.
She got quite upset when we were looking for pictures of horses and they weren't My Little Ponies. So she got grumpy. And I think the last bit we've been left on, I'm chasing after a baby rarity.
No, you've got Applejack with you.
No, but there's a little rarity, baby rarity that we're chasing.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so you basically journey back to put the gate that you was nearest to you, basically the gate which you entered through. But it's busy as ever. It seems to have like a continual stream of people coming through. But to sort of like the northern aspects of it, you can see the stables and the stable hand organising the horses into sort of neat lines. So I see Tordum's already gone over to investigate the horses.
Yeah, I'd like to do the same.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sort
Well,
of doing
okay,
that thing
I
with the
am.
kids and they like jump across the I'm assuming there's like barriers between each horse.
Yeah.
Torden's like just jumping between each barrier and then looking at the horse. And then jumping to the next one.
So the stable hand comes over and gives you a disapproving look, but then sees you, Kashan, and comes straight over to you. Lord, how may I assist you today?
We're looking for an animal to pull a cart. We have a long travel ahead of us.
Of course, of course. Well, it depends on what sort of creature you're looking for. I have several different mounts that would apply in a variety of situations. If you're looking for something to simply pull a cart, I would suggest perhaps maybe a donkey or a draft horse.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need anything sort of too extravagant.
Well,
I don't
Just-
think so.
Just an appropriate animal to pull a cart.
I'm just going to pat this horse on its head.
Well, of course, if you're looking for draft horses, and he indicates the three that are there, but I have these three beauties. If you are looking for a donkey or a mule, which would be substantially cheaper, I might add, you can peruse from these four. These five. And he basically leads you to the back of the stables, to where there are 4 donkeys basically sitting in similar pens. So 5 donkeys rather. They're sitting in various pens in a similar way to the horses.
Can I feed them a carrot?
What would be the difference in the cost?
Yes, can you give me a sleight of hand? Well, a donkey would be a mere 8 gold. A draft horse, however, would be more in the, shall we say, 50 to 100 range.
21.
Yes, you can feed that horse.
I did a carrot.
50 to 100 for a draft horse.
I'm playing with the donkey.
And,
I'll go up playing with the horse.
And I hasten to add that doesn't include the bit, the bridle, the barding, the feed, of course, which is obviously very important.
Mm.
And of course, having a horse in the city requires you to stable it in the stables here, which is 5 silvers a day.
Can you rent one?
Yes, of course. You would pay the, shall we say, the deposit for the animal, and depending on how long you have it for, would then affect how much of the deposit you get back, or whether you would need to owe money.
Would it have to be returned to this specific one, or could we return it to anyone?
It would be advisable that you return it here, lest you risk getting ripped off, as it were. But here I run an honest establishment, so you will be treated fairly, of course.
I'm playing with the donkeys.
Mm. What do you guys think?
However, if you were to buy a beast and take it with you, and if you had your own establishments outside of the city, you could easily stable your beast there as well. However, feeding would of course be your prerogative to deal with.
Mm.
Ooh, let me just check something.
No, you can't catapult the horse.
No.
So, Marilla, what's your view?
Technically, I have an unseen servant that could feed the horse.
Yeah, but you'll still
We
need
get
the
a
feed too.
horse.
You still need the actual field, like the actual feed itself.
That's not the bit I'm worried about. What if when we here, try to bring it with us? Is that fair? Would it like boat?
Well, horses aren't exactly what I would define as seafaring animals. So taking it to somewhere like the mainland to Neverwinter, I would most definitely avoid that. Horses can't vomit, as you may know. So if the horse was to get seasick, the chances are it will die.
What would be the cost for renting the horse for, say, a week and a half?
Well, you would effectively pay put the 75 gold deposit, and depending on the end result of your journey, of course, if the horse survives, you would receive that deposit back with something of a stipend to removal. So I would say, all in all, you'd be looking about 50 gold to rent the beast, and that would also include the saddlebags, the feed, and the bit and bridle.
Does it need a bit and bridle if it's pulling a cart?
Yes.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
If
I'd-
we got one, would we be getting a horse strong enough to pull the cart with us in?
Well, these beasts are very powerful and strong creatures. Cart pulling is very much what these beasts are used to. Obviously, clearly, the more horses you have, the faster you'd be able to go. What exactly will it be pulling? Are you using a cart, a wagon, a chariot?
Just a cart.
Cart, yeah.
Oh yes, yes, of course. One horse will be more than enough. But if you're using the cart to transport wounded, it would definitely be able to engage with that. However, I wouldn't recommend you try and move house with something like that, of course.
That's fine.
So,
Yeah,
are you,
that-
so
that's
are you
fine.
interested in a horse, or would you be more interested in one of my pack mules?
Should we rent like the horse itself? Because that way, we've got a sturdy animal.
Yeah, that sounds possibly.
But then obviously after we leave here, we wouldn't want to sort of like, abandon the horse. So, because eventually we will be leaving sort of Aqua Veda, is what I'm thinking.
We could sell the horse after, or do we rent it? I don't know.
Well, basically, what he's saying is, if you were to leave the Clinging Isles completely, you probably wouldn't be able to take the horse with you. However, the short journeys that would take you to from island to island, the horse would probably be able to deal with that. But the problem would be getting transport that would be able to accommodate the horse.
We'd find a way. There's got to be at least one person.
We need to get our own boat. That's what we need.
Basically.
We need a crew.
Maybe I can fit the horse in my bag, in my pocket.
Right, let's not suffocate the horse in your pocket.
I have everything else in my pocket.
What would be the total cost for
Have
like
it
the
now.
horse and the feed and all the equipment stuff like that?
If you were to buy the Horse Lord, you'd be looking between 50 to 100 for the actual horse itself. You'd then be looking at 2 gold for a single bit and bridle. I would recommend having multiple. I take it you already have your own card.
We do.
Okay. If you were to buy animal feed from me, I charge 5 copper per day's worth of feed. Depending on what sort of saddle you would be wanting, if this is a saddle purely for packing items, you'd be looking about 5 gold for that. A riding saddle would be a little bit more at 10 gold. If you are to be packing bags directly onto the horse, I charge 4 gold for 4 bags. And of course, if you are to take the offer of stabling, I charge 5 silver a day.
We
So
don't
is
need
that-
the stabling, do we?
No, we definitely don't need the stabling.
How many bridles would we get? Would we get like?
You would get 1 for 2 gold. So if you wanted more, you would need to buy them individually.
How many do you think we'd need? Do you think we need more than one?
He recommends it, yes.
So how much are we looking at in total? So you said it was 50 to 100 for the horse.
Yep. Then 2
2
gold
gold
for the
pieces.
bit and bridle.
How
So-
many would we get? Should we get like 3 or 4?
Yeah, I mean, to get like a couple spare, I suppose.
Okay, so then the feed is 5 coppers a day. So however many days you would want to feed.
Would we want 10 to start off with, or do we want more than 10?
But I was thinking if we buy like 20, so spend a gold piece on it, that's 20 days worth of feed. Like,
Okay, so that would come to £200 in terms of weight. So would you be able to carry that?
not right now, but we'd be able to put it on the cart.
Okay. Put,
Wait, £200? £10 in. Alright, I guess that tracks.
okay, so
Maybe
then
only-
put. He would need some level of saddling so that the cart could then be attached to the horse. If you're looking for a pack saddle, basically the cheapest saddle you can get is 5 gold.
Would we have someone riding on the horse, though?
If you did, that'll be 10 gold.
I think it might be safer, wouldn't it? Because then maybe we could get like one person on the cart, one person on the horse, and then the rest of us walk, and we could keep watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Do you
happy
want
to walk.
So I
Do you
don't mind
see anything
paying
about
for it.
Okay, so that'd be like that. Like if we got like a cheap one, being like 50.
Totem's playing.
I'm assuming like for these like 3 horses that he's got is one like 50, 175, and 100. Or...
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
We could go. I don't know anything about horses, but you can choose what quality price of horse you'd like.
Okay, and then if you wanted to attach bags onto the horse itself, it's 4 gold for 4 bags.
Yeah, I have that. So, are we? Which price are we going for, so I can add this up?
Well, if we went for the middle one, I mean, I don't think we need a sort of particularly high-end horse.
Okay,
But I
let
have
me-
like a suspicion that the low-end one would be sort of weaker, perhaps, or prone to falling over and dying.
Okay,
So he brings the cheapest horse out, and you can see that this horse is substantially older. It's got grey in its hair, and it's keeping its head low, not necessarily interested in some things in the world around it. And so this is my oldest horse and my cheapest. I call him Gallican. But he was a war horse back in his day, but was shot inside and is now serving his time as a pack horse. He's very hard working, but I can't guarantee that he won't die before your journey is over.
maybe the 75 gold one.
Alright, so that would be a mare that I have. Her name is Estonian. She's very hard working, very beautiful horse, and middle aged, so you'll get several years' work out of her.
I mean, that sounds like exactly what we need.
I've done the maths of how much it would cost.
But would you like to see my prize horse?
Sure, I mean, out of curiosity, sure.
Okay. I called this one Baldwin. He was the king's personal pack horse before he traded up, as it were. A gift that some noble gave to him. But he's very young and very strong. He can very much. He could quite easily pull a chariot into battle if you really wanted him to. Very much worth the 100 gold.
Either way, it's going to cost us either 98 gold or 123 gold. And I'm fine with either.
Should we go the young horse? Because then we can always trade up the cart for something else if we need to.
Yeah, that could be a good show.
Okay. Yes, we will do that then. We will get the young horse.
So the £100 horse, the 100 gold horse.
Yeah, the young
What did you
horse.
say the name was?
Baldwin.
Baldwin. We'll get 4 bridles. And whatever else that bit was.
Okay.
We'll get 20 food, as riding saddle,
Yep.
and the 4 saddlebags, which comes to 123 gold.
Okay. And will you be stabling him here, or do you have your own establishment?
We have our own establishment.
Excellent. Okay. But of course, there'll be no riding in the city. You will need to walk him around, and then you may mount up once you clear the city walls, of course.
How does our noble friend get to keep his horse in the city if you're not supposed to have animals in the city?
Shall we?
Yes, it's
Should we
arranged.
take the horse to get the cart and then come back to grab the food? Because otherwise, it's a lot of feed.
Might be a clever idea, yeah.
Oh, very well, very well. Would your Turek basically volunteers to stay behind and watch over the feed while you guys organise that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Right.
So who is going to try and lead the horse?
Like, no.
I'll do it.
I was gonna say, do we need animal handling for this?
Yep.
I've got advantage on animal handling, so
Yeah. Yes.
Plus one, so
I'll-
it's not.
it's a good job I have advantage. So I did roll the natural one, but I'll then roll the 17s.
Okay. So the horse basically looks up at you and isn't particularly perturbed by the fact that you're leading it away, and just quite calmly walks over with you. You basically take him to the dwarf's house and set up all of the cart to it, and then lead back and collect the goods, as it were. Now that you have your horse and cart, what would you like to do now?
I'd like to, with the cart itself, is it just like open on the top?
Yes.
Is there anywhere we would be able to buy like a cover for it?
You can do. So basically, you go to the marketplace and just. Oops, sorry. And you basically buy your. You can buy a cover from anyone particular. You can either get it from this guy for just like a general sort of sheet. You can go to this guy for something more exotic, or you can go to this person for something particularly armor based.
I'm just wanting something that's like sort of like weather resistant.
It's a general purpose?
Yeah, this guy. So basically something like
Just something like somewhat sort of like a strong material that would be like waterproof and stuff like that in a situation where like it was raining and stuff.
Well, hello, adventurers. Welcome back to my shop. I see you've got yourself a friend. Oh, what's the matter, boy? Why the long face?
Can I just scowl at him?
Sure. So how can I help you, Lord?
I'm looking for some sort of cover for a cart.
Well, of course, I do have a number of different tarps in a variety of different colours. I have blue, I have dark blue, I have sea blue, I have blue, and I have a weathered blue as well.
Nothing in sky blue?
No, unfortunately, I just sold my sky blue tarp to another group of adventurers who also had a horse and a cart.
Well done.
Very strange, very deja vu-y. Now, Lord, Are you looking for a cover that that could just simply be placed over the cart, or are you looking for something that would give you something of a seating area on the cart as well?
I mean, my main sort of like priority for it is so long as it's sort of like weather resistant to protect any goods that might be in the cart.
Well, of course, Lord, that is obviously important. If you are simply looking for a tarp to drape over the cart itself, I could provide you one for, shall we say, 15 gold. If, however, you're looking for something that would allow you to take shelter underneath it with additional supports, I could easily do you something for, say, 50 gold.
I do think that might be a better idea. Just because we have a friend who doesn't like water.
That's true.
But 50 gold is...
A lot.
Rather expensive.
Is it not that expensive?
Well,
That is
ordinarily I would agree it is, but however it is a lot of leather that I will be providing, and also I have to provide the wood to prop the leather up, and there's obviously the labour charge. This is England after all.
What if I give you my leather?
Do you have enough leather to cover the cart?
I don't know, I have a hell of a lot of leather.
Well, of course, if you provide the leather yourself, then by all means I could just simply provide the service charge at 30 gold.
Just giving him my leather.
Okay, knock it from your inventory. I'm assuming you guys are okay with this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying again either.
Okay, so right, so Tordum has provided the leather, so whoever's paying, if you want to knock off 30 gold.
Done.
Very well, very well. It'll be ready by, shall we say, tomorrow morning. So if you make your way back here in the morning, it'll be ready for you to set out in the morning.
That sounds perfect.
Pleasure doing businesses with you, Lord, and you too, my knife-eared friend. And, are you still scowling at him?
No.
And it was a pleasure doing business with you, my reptilian friend. What sharp teeth you have.
How many sort of like materials would we need to? Was there, because there was like sort of like a stable sort of area next to where the base was, wasn't there?
Yes.
But it was fairly sort of run down, was it not? Or
Yeah.
at least the horses were dead.
Yeah, the paddock itself was quite destroyed.
Would we need some materials to sort of like repair that to have somewhere to house the horse? I suppose.
I mean, there's plenty of materials that simply scattered around the alpha base, and you do have an intact building where the horse could take shelter. But if you're talking about building a dedicated stable, then yes, you would need to acquire the resources for that.
I mean, I suppose we could just sort of house it upstairs.
Yeah, that works.
Because the house above it is fairly intact, isn't it?
Yes,
I
as well as
thought-
the building that the bandits were using for their operations as well.
And the building that we
yeah.
just left
Yeah,
two
well,
random dwarves in.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll consult something out.
Okay. So you guys heading back to the alpha base then?
I don't think there's anything else we need to be doing here.
Well, we transported the food there, can we just say that?
Okay. The dwarfs have gone at this point, and you have a horse.
We have a horse.
Who has control of the horse?
Just me at the minute. But I will give Kashan power over it as well, given that he's the one leading it.
Hey. Horse stuff.
Horse.
Nice. Right, where should we How's the horse?
Okay, so there's a building here which is intact. You can put him in this building. However, you might get a bit freaked out by the fact that the floor opens up.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could clear out some of the stuff in here. And house them sort of inside.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll scavenge up sort of materials and stuff to have like a post to sort of like make sure he can't run away.
I'm going to summon my unseen servant to help him.
Okay. Right, so because you don't necessarily have like a dedicated building, do you want to basically trust in this new structure that you've built, or do you want to have somebody watch over him for a little while?
I suppose with it being like a sort of like a first night, I could stay with him.
Do you want to stay with him?
Yeah, I'll stay with the horse, make sure the horse is okay.
Okay. So Turek heads inside the Alpha Base to prepare dinner. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to go scavenging in the bushes for stuff.
Okay. Marilla?
I would like to, maybe not where we burnt the dead people, but like set up a little like place maybe about here, and I'm gonna get my incense out. I'm gonna get my prayer book, and under the evening sky, I'm gonna do like a little ritualistic prayer to Lyria, just as like a sign of good faith before like the busy days of traveling come ahead, and like just talk to her, tell her what's up, and just be like, is everything that we're doing okay?
Okay. Okay, so do you guys want to take your, effectively your long rest here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
I might have to go to bed.
Yeah, sure. I'll quickly do this bit and then we'll do that. Okay, so Marilla, I'm assuming that you're just meditating in like the main area, or are you in sleeping chamber?
Oh yeah, I'm probably sat comfortably on the floor with
Okay.
I'm gonna have an azurite and a jasper in either hand.
Okay. So as the night wears on and you're just meditating, but you know whenever you've got your eyes closed and you then face like a really bright light, you can then see the colour of your own eyelids and stuff against the darkness.
Yeah.
That basically happens, and basically a bright light appears in the middle of the alpha base, but it's up to you as to whether this will affect your meditation or not.
Probably. Very, very, very probably.
Okay. So you open your eyes and you look around, and the effects of the bright lights are slowly diminishing, and walking around is a very muscle-bound fellow with pure white wings protruding out of his back. He's dressed in a very heavy plate armor, which only covers his chest, and then is wearing sort of like the leg armor, and is wearing a sash around his middle to sort of cover up his codpiece. However, he's walking around in bare feet. He's holding a sword over his shoulder, and the sword itself, while not actually being on fire, is like rippling with heat distortions as if it were on fire. And he's basically examining the books on the shelves that are along this wall.
Okay, I'm going to quietly put the two crystals on the ground, and because I'm meditating, I've probably taken off like my boots and stuff. So I'm gonna creep over, like not like stealthily, but I'm just gonna quietly tiptoe over, arrange out, and I'm gonna go, excuse me, can I help?
He turns to face you. He's like, "Who in my brother's realm are you?"
Who in my brother's realm are you? Is that a form of greeting? I'm a little bit confused.
Oh, I was under the impression that this base was abandoned. Who are you? How did you get in
I'm
here?
gonna put both my tattoos on my hands and be like, this place was abandoned, and then we refound it and we made it our little home for a short while. Is that okay? Do you need us to leave?
Oh, I see. You're alphas. Did my sister send you?
Who's your sister?
Hadriano. Brown-haired, wings, like me. But wanders around with a werewolf and a group of other people. You probably know her as what does she call herself nowadays? Clarissa, Carrie.
Oh yes, yes. We do know her. Yes. She sent us here. Well, she didn't tell us this was here, but she hinted at it. But yes, the short answer is yes.
Huh. And he starts walking around you, examining you, as it were. You are well, what do you mortals call yourselves? You're an elf, is that correct?
Yes.
I see.
That is correct.
Imagined your race to be taller. Anyway, I'm Michael.
Michael. I put out a hand. Nice to meet you. May I ask what you're doing here?
Like he examines your outstretched hand and he doesn't exactly understand the concept of shaking hands, so he comes at it from an upward angle and just sort of shakes your hands up and down once or twice and then lets go. Well, let's just say my sister was privy to some particularly powerful items, and she, as she does, she's rather forgetful, you see. She left them lying around somewhat. Now that the magic of this base is reactivated, I thought I might come back and see if I could find them. But what is this? And instead of walking over, he just simply turns into a white streak of light and just sort of floats over very rapidly and then rematerializes over here.
I'm sorry, Sir Michael. Sir Michael. Excuse me. What are you, if that's not incredibly rude to ask?
Oh, I asked what you are. But I am what you would define as, well, an angel. But of course, I'm not just any angel. And he sort of poses impressively, just looking off into the distance.
I'm afraid I'm a acolyte to the Lady Lyria. I'm not quite sure on who you are.
Well, I'm a planetar, I believe is the way that you call us. I'm effectively an archangel, as it were. And he shows off his sword impressively at you.
That is a magnificent sword. And sorry, what were you pointing to?
Oh, nothing at all. But what is this? This resembles one of my aunts, I believe.
Your aunt?
Yes, Lyria. It's rather spectacular comparison. Do you know who made this?
My entire face is gonna flush a very bright red. my freckles are gonna stand up and be like, oh, well, I did. I made that, Sir Michael, sir.
Oh, it's very impressive. But anyway, I don't suppose you have seen something along the lines of like a golden box that whenever you open it, it melts people's faces off.
Michael, sir, sorry, Michael, sir, no, because I still have my face. The only thing that we have seen, I think, was when we first arrived here, and was a suit of armor that walked through a wall, and we haven't actually seen it since.
You see. Well, unfortunately, that's not what I'm looking for, but it's been most entertaining. You wouldn't happen to be called Morella by any chance, would you?
That is me.
Well, I'm supposed to give you a message from my aunt, hence why I was surprised. Apparently, she said something rather cryptic, and she basically said it's okay to kill racists. I assume you know what that means.
Sir, Michael, sir, thank you for relaying the message. And send your thanks to her, the lady herself. Thank you.
Oh well. Good day, elf person, and maybe meet again. And he basically steps into what appears to be a very, very bright rainbow, and then immediately disappears.
Hey, I'm cool. I'm just gonna take my space back, pick up my crystals, and like just hyperventilate for about half an hour, and then go back to meditating for like the last bit, and then wake up and just pace around in complete anxiety.
All the while expecting Frank to arrive.
Basically, if Frank arrives, I'm just gonna scream at him, I think.
May I offer you some legal advice?
Frank! Oh my god, Frank! Oh my goodness, Frank!
You seem to be in a severe difficulty. Are you of a sound mind to make informed decisions?
100%. And she's just like basically jumping up and down, and like is gonna like grab Frank by his hands and like twirl him around a few times and be like, Frank, this has been one of the best evenings on this planet.
Oh, careful. I must advise you that this activity may be construed as a personal invasion of space.
Oh, sorry, Frank, sorry. Are you okay? You, why steal the suit? Not that it's not good, but why steal the suit?
Well, as I probably have explained before, I appear throughout the space-time continuum at random, so it's possible you've given the future me a version of an instruction to remove the suit, but until I catch up with that version of myself, I probably will remain in the suit for some time.
I am so sorry. I have cursed you to this then.
Why, did you wish for me to be out of the suit?
I did. I didn't. I know there can be complications with the wishes, but I didn't mean to cause you more pain if it has.
Well, nothing can be proved legally, so for now we shall simply have to deal with it as it currently stands. But if you need me for legal advice, I'm more than happy to assist.
Oh, thank you. And I'm not going to tell anybody about my experience.
Okay, so shall we call it there for tonight, because Nasty's gone to bed now, and we can pick this up next week?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.